picking up on what you just said about failures, you can see there's one on there. Can you expand a little bit more on failures, and maybe also reflect a little bit on what has driven you to change UNICEF innovation setup over the past years? What were the lessons learned? What failures have you encountered, and how have you learned from them to change?
Cool. So I think I would point, if anybody wants to read about one of our most magnificent failures, please Google UNICEF innovation failure. And then if you really want, add the word COA, Q-O-W-A, at the end of that. And that is our attempt to describe one of our many failures in the space of providing online learning for refugee populations at that point in Iraq. We tried at that point to capture a failure in a way that was useful. We've done many failure fairs, which are these little kind of moments where you can bring people together and talk in a quote unquote safe space. And we've also done things like, we had a joint meeting of the boards a few years ago where we had our executive leadership speak about failure. But fundamentally, we and I think others in the UN system are unable to fail. And I'll reflect on one reason why, which is that I think it would be an unusual UN staff member who, in their performance evaluation review, or whatever mechanism the organization has for that, in their end of year review, lists a failure or several failures as a type of achievement. So that may happen, but it would be a rare one of those. It would be an even more rare manager who takes those failures and gives that staff member an outstanding, or whatever the highest mark is in that achievement framework. And because of that, the asymmetry between what we know we need to do, which is to be able to learn and to try and to test things out, and our ability to talk about it is great. And that's a big problem. It's a huge problem. And I think if we had to fix that together, if we could fix that together, it would really be about leaning on each other as UN systems. It's easier to talk about failure together, and it's much harder to be the one person doing it. And these are the little failures. So somebody said in our meeting yesterday, 2 days ago, David Anthony said, he's like, when you have a kid who's trying to walk, 3 years old, UNICEF loves child metaphors for some reason. When you have a kid who's trying to walk and they stumble, you don't yell at them or hit them. You kind of encourage them and try, and then they get to the other side of the room and you clap and you're so excited about this pretty basic thing that the child did. And it's not because none of us can walk, we can all walk, but it's about helping somebody go through a learning journey. And that's not the kind of journey that you need at the $10 million, $100 million project level, but it is the type of effort that you need at the beginning. And we just don't do it. So that's my sort of thinking on it, but I'm happy to go a lot deeper into it. I think it's